The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On Saturday, October 25th, the Star City Games $5,000 Standard Open returns to Richmond, Virginia, and this event is going to be huge. Hundreds of players, Friday night trials, the $5,000 Standard Open, a Pro Tour Kyoto qualifier, tons of side events, and more will make for a magical weekend you won't soon forget. So make plans to join us in Richmond, and we'll see you there.
This is Hancock Part 2, back by popular demand, alongside the homie Lil Wayne. We're about to go ahead and give it to you, just like this.
Well, it was a new format, new Type 2 format, so I just wanted to play something that I knew could beat fairies, and I knew that was aggro and it could win, had many avenues to victory. So that's why I chose this deck.
Right, so let's talk about it. Show me what's going on.
Okay, we got 25 lands here. All my lands produce white mana. Only 4 come into play tap, which are the Windbrisk Heights. The change from the block deck, I obviously play Battlefield Forge. Now I have 8 sources of red. I have all my creatures. I have 8 creatures here that utilize the white mana to the fullest. 4 figures and 4 steel moons. Okay. The idea behind the deck is it plays out like a Kithkin deck, except at any point in the game in which I have this in play, I can win at instant speed or do a considerable amount of damage with this card, Kithkin Backlash. Okay. I usually call on Kithkin Backlash. I usually call white first game up against most decks because I have this pro white guy here, 4 of these, which if I call white, that means every card in their deck is white, which means he has protection from their whole deck, resulting in me being able to pump or whatever to kill them quick.
Would you rather call blue because of Oversoul of Dusk?
The reason I don't want to call blue is because I only have 3 Oversoul of Dusks, and I have 4 of these, so white or blue doesn't matter. A lot of times people already have white and blue permanents, so you can base your decision on that, you know, what you want to do. Out of the sideboard here, I have 4 Guttural Response. So if you do bring these in and you do call blue, this turns every instant they have into a blue instant. So you can counter Cryptics, Makeshift Mannequins, all the charms. You can counter Nameless Inversion, Crib Swap, all types of stuff with this. So this card, I feel, has become more valuable now after the rotation, just in general because of the charms.
Okay, and so talk about the rest of your sideboard and how it applies to different matchups.
This is for the mono red decks or any deck running Fire Spout, really just to shut them down. It's an aggro creature. Because obviously Fire Spout would hurt a deck like this, so you know you got to have some answer to this. You got to have the Ruined Halos for Demigod, for Chameleon Colossus, for any kind of threat that you think you can't answer with like a removal spell or blocking. Got a utility, another one of these, you know, to bring it against control decks. Got the Wisp Mares to destroy Ruined Halos and Bitter Blossoms. Bitter Blossom really doesn't hurt this deck whatsoever because the only deck that really runs Bitter Blossom is Fairies, and this deck has actually never lost to Fairies. So
is that part of the reason why you played it in the first
that's
place?
part of the reason why I played it today. I did have a Fairy build that I was running just 2 colors. That I was running 4 Vendean Clicks and 4 Thoughtseize, but I didn't think that it was the right call today, so I played this.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the Windbrisk Heights plays.
The Windbrisk Heights, some of the cool things you can do with it is if you get a Backlash under it or a Painter's Servant and you have one of the pieces in your hand, you can sort of combo out at instant speed. Or let's say you have some Steel Moons or Oversouls in play and you attack, and before blockers you bring in a Painter's Servant to make it where all their creatures are the color, so they just take damage before blockers can be declared. So that's really good. After board, putting a Guttural Response under a Windbrisk Heights is really cool because sometimes when you go to pump like your guys that you've been attacking with, they'll obviously try to do something, and then having that Guttural Response, you know, is just key. You like having Spectral Processions in there. Basically, Windbrisk Heights wasn't in the block deck because I didn't want to play more coming to play tap lanes, but now that you can play Battlefield Forge, there's no reason not to play this. This is a fun deck. I recommend playing this deck to anybody who likes attacking and likes being able to win off the top of their deck. Draw a card, cast it, you win. You know.
What changes would you make if you had the option?
I feel that after playing the deck in 2 competitive tournaments, that possibly dropping down to 24 lands would be okay. maybe cut 1 Backlash and maybe 1 land plate to 2 Condemns in standard. Command Colossus, you know, I should have played Condemn because it's just so good, but I didn't want to give my opponents life. So to all you Magic players out there, don't be afraid to play Condemn. It's not that big of a deal. You should play it. So what we have here is a basic aggro deck that can win at instant speed. Anytime you have a Painter Servant in play, and you're playing against a control deck, green deck that runs sorceries, big sorceries and stuff like that, anytime you have this in play, you've either called white or blue. So anytime they cast their Cryptic Command or their Wrath of God or their Ultimatums or things like that, and they tap out, and you have that Backlash, you count their number of permanents. Usually they have at least 5 to 7 permanents, maybe more. If you play against Kithkin and they go Spectral Procession, Cloud Guard Ranger, they're going to have like 10 permanents. You know, you can just kill a Kithkin. I've killed a Kithkin deck before that was at 18 and I was at 2 in 1 turn with the Chaotic Backlash. So I beat the fairies. You already have Chaotic Backlash against Kithkin. You have Oversoul against the control decks. The only thing this deck would love to have is Bitter Blossom. If somehow I could fit Bitter Blossom in here, that would be great, but that's a whole nother story. We'll get to that another deck take. So,
That's great.
but I would definitely put some Condemns in. You know, I would consider Paladin Invec if you think that you might need that. But I need help. You know, like you guys got any ideas? Email Evan. You know, he knows how to get a hold of me. So it's a fun deck. It's a fun deck. Respond to the forums.